Recording in progress.
Oh, hello, David. I'm really
David.
pleased that you. Hang on. Right, so it's good that you've come to the meeting, but you're very late.
I am not.
You are. Yeah, you are. You're 20 minutes late, but nevertheless, you're here now, so which is very good. I've got an agenda for us, so I shall go through
I
it.
had to come from the other side of the studio.
Oh, that shouldn't take you 20 minutes, should it?
Yeah, well, I was busy.
Well, that's very rude because you should have prioritised our meeting because it's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely important. Okay, so this is the agenda. Let's see if you agree with this.
Yeah.
So to start with, I want to talk about what you've been doing and what you've been doing wrong, and then I'm going to give you a chance to talk as well.
Yeah.
Then I want to talk. Is that okay?
You have taken the initiative.
I have taken the initiative because I'm obviously the boss, aren't I?
No, David's taken the initiative.
No, David's not taking the initiative. I am taking the initiative because I'm running the meeting, aren't I?
David's acted on words unspoken between us, but I knew what you meant. You wanted Neil out.
There's been no unspoken words, and actually that's one of the things we will be looking at, okay? So moving swiftly on, then we will look at the consequences, then we're going to look at the reasons, and finally we're going to come up with some actions so that things are better, all right? That's our agenda.
Yeah, we're playing consequences.
No, we're not playing consequences, no.
Oh.
We're in a serious meeting to talk about your rude behaviour towards Neil, the way you've been hectoring him, how abusive you are.
I thought we were talking about Neil.
Well, we're talking about your and Neil's relationship. Absolutely, we are. Yes, how it's broken down. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, he's out.
Well, that's fair enough. He's out, but it's you and me, isn't it? And we're talking now, and we'll see if we can set something to rights. So, as I was saying, so your behaviour towards Neil, there was a particular thing you did that I really didn't like. I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to give you a chance to comment. You said that the staff were offloading about the impact of Neil on them, and that they were spending, was it 75% of their time doing that?
At least, yeah.
Utter nonsense and just horrible. And this is an example of your gaslighting of Neil. That I really thought was bullying from you to Neil. Let's just make that clear. Have you got?
David just states the facts, and after speaking to every single member of staff, Neil excluded, they all had a bone to pick about Neil.
No, they don't. This is utter nonsense. You have just sat in that studio and gone nowhere else for the last couple of months. So what you've just said is just a fantasy, and a nasty fantasy at that. I would say your fantasies are dangerous.
Absolutely not.
Correct your tone of voice as well.
I will not hear of this. I spoke to them all.
You will hear of it. Now, let's just carry on. So these are some of the things that you've been doing. So you've been insulting and threatening, and you've also taken my name in vain, which I really don't like. You and I do not have a secret relationship where we communicate without words and where we collude together to gang up against Neil. That's not happening. That's never happened.
We agree on absolutely everything.
I don't think we agree on very much at all. I think you've been a bully, and I think you've been insulting, and I think you've been very, very belittling to Neil. The range of insults that you used towards him, and the consequences, David, that he ended up so upset that he's told you he's going to pull your show, hasn't he?
Yeah, but here we are.
Here we are on episode 249, and there might not be an episode 250 if we can't get things resolved.
There will. I've got Seal. Yeah, I got Seal.
No, you haven't. You haven't got Seal. You've got nobody but Neil. And this is one of the problems. You only see Neil. And what's happened, the things that are real, you've just ignored them all, and you've ended up getting off on your fantasy. That's what I would say. This Dr. Tranquil David and the PhDs with your huge band of, is it 110 people you've got now?
Not anymore, there's more. Yeah.
Well, that's a fantasy. And you were invited to join a real band. I invited you to join my band, the Punk Crone, at the Barbican gig next week on the 29th. Bit of a plug there. But you chose not to come. You chose not to come to any rehearsal, and that was a real offer. And instead, what you've done, you've just got immersed in your fantasy world of this ridiculous fantasy of 110 people, and you treat them badly.
And counting. Yeah.
Yeah.
120 now. But who needs Neil when you got Seal?
Who needs Neil if you're living in your head, which is what you're doing? You're not living in reality, are you? I don't think you distinguish between what's real and what's fantasy. I mean, you never have done really, but I think right now you're in a very dangerous part of your life where you could end up with nothing and no one.
Have you seen him?
Have I seen Neil? Of course I've seen Neil. I've worked with him.
No, not Neil, the Danger Man.
Don't be ridiculous. There is no danger man. You know this. This is what you do. You throw dust. You do it every time. We're talking about something real, your bad behaviour, and you respond to try and get me off the scent by talking about some poppycock. Nonsense.
You swore at David.
That's not swearing. Poppycock is not swearing.
It sounds pretty naughty to David.
You make me laugh. I am not going to laugh at you. You are not going to disarm me like you usually do. I've got an agenda and I'm going to stick to it. So the consequences are, David, that your show could get pulled. And I think it's all because you're just not doing enough. You're not going out. When was the last time you went out of that workshop and you saw anybody?
Actually, last Wednesday, I met Georgia. Rob's daughter.
Oh, did you? Well, I don't remember seeing any evidence of that on a show.
It wasn't filmed, but let me tell you, I put her in a place. She wanted to hurt me.
Right, how dare you? How dare you talk to members of the public like that? Georgia's a little girl. You shouldn't be putting her in her place. You're a puppet. You are a very disturbed puppet.
You're not a puppet.
You are a puppet. You are a puppet and you are dependent on Neil. And you should not be hectoring or abusing or putting anybody in their place in the public. You shouldn't be doing that. That's wrong.
She wanted to meet me, and I'd heard that she originally liked me, but then started to dislike me a little bit. But I made her realise that David is a lovely man.
Well, there you are. So that should give you some clues. I wonder why she started to dislike you. I wondered if it could be something to do with how nasty you've become. What do you think? Well, I think you've become rather nasty. It's not the real David. I think the reason you're doing it is because you're bored. I think you're a bit resentful and jealous as well, because the things you come up with they puff you up a bit. They make you sound like you're this huge man that has all these different roles. And I suspect it's because actually deep inside, you're actually rather resentful, jealous and insecure.
I'm over 9 feet tall and I have lots of strings to my bow.
Yeah, and all of them are 40. You don't have any strings.
Yeah, wash your mouth out.
Don't be rude. Don't be rude. You're doing it again. You've got that horrible tone of voice.
You said all the strings to my bow are not working properly.
I did say that because at the moment you're not doing what you're meant to be doing. You've not come to the jam factory once since we've been there. You've not been to see the students at all. You've not been promoting Town Hall Smart. You've said nothing about our Barbican gig that's so important to us. You've just sat in there in that studio and you've come up with schemes to be horrible to Neil.
It's difficult for David. I'm here on my own a lot of the time.
Yeah, I know, that's sad, isn't it? And I think you got mauled once, didn't you? I came in and saw you looking really dishevelled and I think someone had picked you up.
Mauled by a pack of wolves. I've seen them, yeah.
I don't think it was a pack of wolves. I think it was somebody maybe just picking you up. But I understand it's hard for you, but that still doesn't excuse what you're doing, which is you're turning on the one person in the world that you should be able to always be nice to because you depend on Neil. If Neil doesn't want to make the shows with you, there will be no show. And also, David, if you carry on, I won't have you on air being nasty like you are, on and on and on, just really being horrible to Neil. And it's just, you need to stop. You need to think about it and come up with some targets for yourself to improve things.
Right, you are. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I've seen it.
So enough is enough.
Yeah, I'm getting fed up of it anyway.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. So would you like to be a nicer David?
Yeah, I think it's time for a change. And maybe it's time for me to try a new career.
Oh, as what?
I'm not sure yet. Some kind of surgeon.
Grandiose. Can't you just have a career as being a puppet in a show?
Absolutely not. David is not a puppet. And even if he was, he's so much more than just a puppet in a show.
I know you are. You are so much more than a puppet. You're a real boy, aren't you? I suggest you go back to your book and have a good look at it. At the gingerbread man. Your special.
Gingerbread man. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? And I think you should come to the Jam Factory and check it out and see everybody at some point.
Yeah, I suppose I could come along tomorrow.
That would be lovely. Come to the Jam Factory. That would be really lovely. And you could see me rehearse if you wanted to. The band you were going to be in.
Yeah, maybe I could sing a few lines.
You sing a few lines, you're always welcome. And you could be nice to people and they would love to see you. I think the more things you do like that, the nicer you're going to be. And then all of this nonsense, all this hostility and taking it out on Neil, which is what you're doing, it will stop.
Tell me, who else is in the band?
Well, there's our one,
Yeah.
our two,
Yeah.
Kirby,
Yeah.
and Ewan.
Yeah, I've seen Ewan before.
Yeah, I know. And you've seen our one and our two as well, haven't you? So you can come and chew the fat as it goes, with them when you come in.
Actually, I'm vegetarian now.
It's a figure of speech, that's all. Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to say? Anything you want to get off your chest? Now is your chance to do it while you've actually got my ear. And these are the only times, David, we will ever talk when we're actually on film. We don't have a secret relationship. We really don't.
Yeah, I suppose it's been going on too long. David's getting weary, and actually, he needs to take it easy on Neil, and maybe just try a new career path and. Yeah, just see how it goes. I'm ready for change.
Right, well done. That's really what I want to hear. That's smashing. Well done, David. Really good.
David did well.
David did very well. Well done. Yeah. Okay, anything else, or should we just say goodbye to everyone?
Yeah, I think we just say goodbye to everyone.
Okay, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Love, David.